I never expected this to happen. For the past 5 years, I thought my wife and I had a solid life together. We were raising our daughter, who is now 4, and I loved her with all my heart. I worked long hours to provide for us, sometimes 10 hours a day, every single day. I didn't mind, though. I believed in what I was doing. I thought that by working hard, I could give my family everything they needed: a comfortable home, food, clothes, everything that should matter. My wife, on the other hand, was a stay-at-home mom. She cared for our daughter and our house, and I thought everything was fine. But, like many marriages, things started to change without me even realizing it. The first signs, though subtle, were there. About 2 months ago, we went to a mechanic shop. We needed to get her car serviced. I remember the guy there. A young mechanic kept talking to my wife. He was friendly and seemed to take a special interest in her. It didn't seem like anything at the time, just an innocent conversation between adults. We didn't think much of it. I wore my Raiders jersey that day, and it was actually me who ended up striking up a conversation with him. We bonded over football. We were both fans of the Raiders, so we hit it off. Little did I know, that was the beginning of the end. I work long hours, like I said, 10 or 12-hour days, and as much as I hated being away, I did it because I had to. But behind my back, something was happening. My wife had started seeing that mechanic. Every day I was at work, she would spend time with him. I never noticed. How could I? I trusted her. I was so focused on providing for our family that I didn't see the warning signs until it was too late. 3 weeks ago, when I came home from work, I found a text from her. It was short and blunt. She was gone. She had left me, and she was in love with this guy. She said he was her soulmate, the one she had been waiting for. I couldn't believe it. My heart sank. What had I done wrong? I had always been there for her. Through thick and thin, I paid the bills. I provided for us. Sure, I worked long hours, but didn't I deserve some understanding for that? But instead of working with me, she chose him, the mechanic, this guy who didn't even have a place to stay. I later found out they had been living in the car I paid for, parking in different parks. My car, the one I had worked hard for, was now their home. It crushed me. But what really destroyed me was that she didn't just leave me. She left our daughter behind. She took her 2 kids from her previous marriage, kids who I loved and treated like my own, but left my own flesh and blood. I had to take care of our daughter, the one she abandoned. My sisters and my mom stepped up to help me, taking care of her while I worked. But it wasn't the same. Our daughter cried every night, asking for her mother. She didn't understand why her mom wasn't there, and neither did I. It was unbearable. And then, to add insult to injury, the other night, the cops knocked on my door. It was my wife. The cops were there to escort her while she packed up more of her things. I couldn't believe it. I watched her leave with that guy sitting in the passenger seat of the car I paid for. That was the last straw for me. I thought it couldn't get worse. But it did. The next morning, I got a text from her. She asked me if I could give her gas money and if I would still pay for the car note. She had the nerve to ask for money after everything she had done. I didn't respond. I was done. I had tried. I had worked hard. I had loved her, cared for her, and supported her through everything. I provided everything for her and our kids, but it was never enough. She said I worked too much, that I didn't have time for her. She never once stopped to think that I was working to give us everything. I was exhausted, but I did it for her, for us. Now, I'm sitting here, trying to figure out what happened. What went wrong? I don't know. I don't know how to explain this to my daughter. She's too young to understand what's going on. She just wants her mom back. But her mom is gone. I thought I knew who she was. But now, all I can think is that I never truly knew her at all. I still don't understand how she could do this to us. It feels like my whole world has been flipped upside down. I never imagined that the woman I married, the woman I thought I knew so well, would turn into someone so completely different. I've tried to go over everything in my head, trying to figure out where I went wrong, but all I keep coming back to is that I was just doing my best. She used to tell me how much she loved our family, how she was so happy with me, with our life together. But as soon as things started going downhill, she ran to him, the mechanic. It still blows my mind that someone I barely knew became the reason for the end of everything I worked for. He was younger, sure, but that didn't bother me. I wasn't jealous of him at first. But now, every time I think about him, I get angry. The fact that he's out there, living off my hard work, using my car to live in parks, it's too much to handle. And she doesn't care. She didn't care about our daughter. She didn't care about me. I'm still trying to make sense of how she could just leave everything behind so easily. It doesn't make any sense. I thought she was happy. Sure, we had our problems, what marriage doesn't, but we were a family. She knew how hard I worked, how much I sacrificed for us. I spent 10-hour days at a job I hated just to make sure she and the kids had everything they needed. I worked hard to provide for them, and yet she couldn't see that. She thought I wasn't giving her enough time. But the truth is, she never told me that was what she needed. She never communicated that she was unhappy with our life. If she had, maybe I could have done something about it. But no, she chose to cheat. She chose to run away. She left me, and she left our daughter behind, without a second thought. The worst part is how much my daughter is suffering. Every night, she cries for her mother. She doesn't understand why her mom isn't there anymore. And it breaks my heart because there's nothing I can do to make it better for her. I try to comfort her, but I know it's not the same. She needs her mom. She deserves to have both of her parents in her life. But now, her mother has abandoned her, and I'm left trying to pick up the pieces. My family, my sisters, and my mom have been a huge help. They've been watching her while I work, but it's not the same as having her mom there. No one can replace her mother. And it hurts to know that my wife doesn't even care enough to check on her. She hasn't asked about our daughter once in the past 3 weeks. Not once. Last night, when she came to get her things, I thought it couldn't get worse. But it did. She was there with the cops, and they were escorting her in to take what she wanted from the house. My daughter was sleeping, thank God, because I didn't want her to see her mom like that. I watched as she grabbed her things, and I looked outside to see the guy she's been seeing sitting in the passenger seat of my car. It was all too much. I was beyond livid. How could she do this? How could she just walk away from everything we had, from everything I gave her? And then, this morning, she texted me asking for gas money. She wanted me to pay the car note. After everything she's done, she has the nerve to ask me for money. I couldn't believe it. It felt like a slap in the face. I didn't respond. I couldn't. I'm done. I don't care anymore. I worked so hard for everything we had, and now it's all falling apart. She took everything for granted, and now she's trying to act like nothing happened. But I can't just forget. I can't just let it go. I gave her everything, and she threw it all away. I don't know what to do. I'm stuck in this cycle of anger and confusion. Every time I think I'm starting to heal, something happens that drags me right back down. I'm trying to stay strong for our daughter, but it's hard. It's so hard. I keep thinking about what she said before she left. She said she was in love with him, that he was her soulmate. I don't even know how to process that. How can she throw away everything we had for someone she barely knows? How could she leave our daughter behind, not even caring about how much this would hurt her? It's like she doesn't even care about our family anymore. But I won't let her do this to me anymore. I won't let her hurt me or our daughter anymore. I'm done. I'm getting a lawyer, and I'm fighting for full custody of our kids. I'm going to make sure they have the life they deserve, and I'll do whatever it takes to protect them. I'll take care of them. I'll be there for them. And I'll show them that even though their mother left, they still have a family. They still have me. It's been a tough few weeks, but I'm starting to realize that I don't need her anymore. I don't need her to feel whole. I have my daughter, and that's enough. I'll build a life with her, and we'll be okay. I'm done living in the past. I'm done holding on to something that isn't there anymore. It's time for me to move forward and make sure my kids have the future they deserve. The days keep dragging on, and it feels like I'm stuck in this endless cycle of emotions. 1 minute, I feel like I'm starting to move forward, and the next, I'm hit with a wave of grief, anger, and confusion. It's hard to explain, but this whole situation has drained me more than anything I've ever experienced. The worst part of it all is the constant battle with myself. I keep questioning if I did something wrong. Could I have been a better husband? Could I have given her more attention? But then I remember everything I did for her. I worked hard every day. I provided for us, and I loved her with everything I had. I didn't deserve this. None of this makes sense. I still can't wrap my head around the fact that she's gone. I've never felt more abandoned in my life. She just left, and now she's living in parks with the guy she's been seeing. She doesn't even care about the kids. She hasn't asked about them once. I never thought I'd be in a situation like this, but here I am, trying to pick up the pieces of my life while she's out there living her own. It's not just the betrayal that hurts, it's the way she's acting now. She's not the woman I married. The person who once cared for our family, who was a good mother to our daughter, is now someone completely different. She's cold. She's distant. She's out there with this guy, living in a car, and she hasn't even bothered to check on her kids. I'm still trying to process everything. It's like a part of me is still holding on to some hope that things will get better, that she'll come back and realize what she's done. But deep down, I know that's never going to happen. She's moved on, and I have to do the same. But it's hard. It's hard to let go of someone you thought was your soulmate. I always believed that we had something special, something worth fighting for. But now I see it for what it truly was, just a facade. She wasn't happy. She was pretending to be. And I didn't even know. I think about my daughter all the time. She's been asking about her mom, but I don't know what to tell her. How do I explain this to a 4-year-old? How do I make her understand that her mom is gone, and it's not her fault? I can't take away her pain, no matter how hard one try. All I can do is be there for her. It's strange. I've never felt more alone in my life, but I'm not really alone. I have my daughter, and I have my family. They've stepped up in ways I never expected, helping me take care of her while I work. My sisters and my mom are incredible, and I'm so grateful for them. They've been there for me when I needed them most. But still, I can't shake the feeling of betrayal. It eats away at me. I keep thinking about how much she's changed, about how she used to be so loving, so dedicated to our family. Now, it's like she's a completely different person. I don't know who she is anymore. And then there's the other guy. I can't help but feel this deep anger whenever I think about him. He's the one who took her away from us. He's the one who's now living in my car, using the life I worked so hard to build. I don't even know how to process that. He's younger, he's less experienced, and yet he's the one she chose. I don't know if I can ever forgive him for what he's done, but I guess that's not even the point. It's not really about him. It's about her. She made the choice to leave, to abandon our daughter, to tear our family apart. A part of me wants to believe that she'll come to her senses, that she'll realize what she's doing is wrong, but I don't think she will. She's too far gone. She's made her choice, and now I have to live with it. I have to keep moving forward. No matter how much it hurts, my life feels like it's been shattered into a million pieces. I never thought I'd be here, trying to figure out how to put everything back together. I never thought I'd be raising my daughter on my own, without her mom. I didn't sign up for this. But I will do it. For her. I'll be the dad she needs. And I'll make sure she has everything she deserves. I'll make sure she grows up in a home filled with love and stability, even if it's not with both of her parents. I've had to come to terms with the fact that she's gone. She's not coming back, and I can't keep waiting for her. I have to let go, even though it hurts more than anything I've ever experienced. I can't keep living in the past, hoping for something that's never going to happen. I'm done, but it's still hard. I still love her, in some twisted way, and that's the part that hurts the most. Because even though she's done all of this to me, a part of me still wants to believe in her, still wants to hope that she'll change, but I know she won't. It's time for me to focus on what's important: my daughter, my family, and my future. I'm not going to let her destroy us. I'm going to protect my kids and make sure they're okay. And I'm going to heal, no matter how long it takes. I'm getting to a point where I can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's been hard, so much harder than I ever imagined, but I'm learning to let go. I'm learning to accept that this is the reality now. My wife is gone, and she's not coming back. As much as I've tried to understand, as much as I've begged for her to see the damage she's done. I realize now that I need to focus on what's left the kids, my daughter, and myself. It's still painful, though. Every time I think I'm done with the pain, it hits me again. It's not just the betrayal. It's not just the way she abandoned our daughter. It's everything. The lies, the manipulation, the constant back and forth. She's tried to pull me back in so many times, and every time, I fall for it. I let myself hope, just for a second, that maybe she'll change. But deep down, I know it's not going to happen. She's moved on. She's not the person I thought she was. And I need to stop trying to fix something that's broken beyond repair. It still hurts when I think about the times we had. There were good times. We had a life together. I remember when we first met. She was so full of life. She had this energy about her that drew me in. I thought she was everything I wanted. I thought she was the one, but I was blind to what was really going on beneath the surface. I didn't see the signs. I didn't see how much she was struggling, how much she was hiding. I thought I was doing everything right by working hard, by providing for her, but it wasn't enough. Looking back, I see the cracks in our relationship, the things I ignored, the way she started to pull away from me, the way she started to shut me out, and when I wasn't there for her, when I was too busy working, she found someone else to turn to, someone who didn't care about the sacrifices I was making for our family, someone who could give her the attention she wanted. And now, she's living a life I can't even begin to understand. She's with this guy, the mechanic. He's younger, and from what I can gather, he doesn't have a lot going for him. But she's chosen him over everything we had. She's chosen to live in a car, to sleep in parks, to beg for money. It's heartbreaking to think about. She's not the woman I married anymore. She's someone I don't even recognize. And then there's the guilt. It eats at me every day. I still feel like I failed her. I feel like I didn't do enough. I worked so hard, but I didn't take the time to listen, to ask her what she really needed. If I had, maybe things would have been different. Maybe she wouldn't have left. But then again, maybe not. She had her own demons, her own struggles that I couldn't see. And no matter how much I tried, I couldn't fix them. I'm trying to let go of that guilt. I know it's not my fault. I did everything I could. I was there for her. I was there for the kids. But in the end, it wasn't enough. And that's something I have to accept. I'm also trying to accept that this is my life now. It's not what I imagined, but it's mine. I'm raising my daughter on my own now, and I'm doing everything I can to make sure she grows up happy, healthy, and loved. She's been through so much already, and I won't let her go through any more pain. I'll be there for her every step of the way. I'll be the dad she needs. As for my stepkids, it's been tough. They're hurting too. They want their mom back. But I'm trying to help them understand that their mom isn't the same person anymore. She's gone. And it's okay for them to grieve that. But they can't keep holding on to something that isn't there. I'm here for them. I've always been here for them. And I'll continue to be, no matter what. There are still moments where I wonder if I'm doing the right thing, if I'm making the right decisions for the kids, for myself. But then I look at them. I see their smiles. And I know that I'm doing my best. I'm doing everything I can to give them the life they deserve. And that's enough. I have to believe that's enough. The pain will fade in time. I know that. It doesn't feel like it now, but I'll get through this. We'll get through this. It's just going to take time, patience, and a whole lot of strength. I'm learning to be strong for my kids, and I'm learning to heal. It's not easy, but I have to keep moving forward. For them, for me. I'm not sure what the future holds, but I know one thing for sure. I won't let this define me. I won't let her actions destroy the love I have for my kids. I'll fight for them, and I'll fight for myself. I'll make sure they grow up knowing that no matter what happens, they have a dad who loves them more than anything in this world. I've let go of the past. Now, I'm focused on the future, and I'm going to make sure it's a good one.